In Conversation is a collection of interviews with fashion photographers, models, makeup artists, and stylists, as they give an insight into the industry and talk about some of their most inspiring images.
Um, so yeah, thanks for joining. So in Conversations basically been set up as a chance for um, any kind of fashion creators or anything like that to kind of tell us a bit about their work and their background and sort of how they're involved in the industry. Um, so first, yeah, let's talk a bit about yourself. Tell us a bit about your background.
So I am like a fashion student. I've been studying fashion for like 5 years now. And I started in Liverpool, City Liverpool College, and then went on to move into London around 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And since then, I've had loads of opportunities. I've changed my mind about what I want to do multiple times. I originally wanted to be a designer, but I've started to move more towards like the content creation and the like social media and journalism route, which
Mhm.
I'm really enjoying. And yeah,
How did you kind of make that transition from design
so
into?
I just realized that designing is really like a tough world. Like it's really difficult, especially when you're starting from not a lot. Like I genuinely don't have a lot of connections. I started out with not a lot, and a lot of people who do design have a lot of money behind them. And I didn't realize that until I actually got down to London, and I thought maybe this isn't for me. So I thought like I'm very creative and I still do want to do fashion for the rest of my life. But I thought like maybe journalism and like marketing and social media. And then I really found what I wanted to do there.
So yeah, with the fashion, that was it. Yeah. So with the writing and the content creation, what does that kind of entail?
Yeah. So right now it's mainly Destin Liverpool. That is where I showcase like small businesses from Liverpool, events, designers and fashion history. But for AYW magazine, it's very runway and menswear based, sort of like what's happening now in fashion.
Mhm. So with the magazine, how did you get involved with that then?
So I saw her content through Destin Liverpool because AYW is a Liverpool based magazine,
Mhm.
and I reached out to her asking if I could write for her, and then I just became like the sort of designated menswear writer.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot with the magazine stuff. I was gonna dive into it a bit later, but we can talk about it now with the magazine. I've seen you've just recently been over to the Copenhagen Fashion Show, Fashion Week.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, let's yeah, kind of tell us a bit about. So was that through the magazine, that sort of thing?
So that magazine, yeah. So they received the opportunity to attend two fashion shows, and I was lucky enough to go over for the magazine. Oh, I was lucky enough to go over for the magazine and sort of create content, create like an Instagram takeover, and also two articles for the website about the shows. I had such a good experience. Like it was the first time I've actually been invited to a fashion show rather than work at a fashion show.
Mhm.
So it was a different experience to be the one like not knowing what's gonna happen and sitting front row and just yeah, taking everything in and being sat with like people from really big publications and influencers and things like that.
Yeah, did it give you a chance, if you kind of sat there with people and stuff, did it give you a chance to kind of talk to them a bit more and make some good connections and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it was really interesting because the people I was sat next to, I actually knew who they were like before I got there.
Mhm.
So I've like followed them for a long time. So it did feel a bit surreal. And it was one of those moments where it was like, actually, like I am the same as them. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm doing the same thing as them, and I'm probably gonna run into more people like this.
Yeah, I bet it was an amazing experience. I think the more you kind of do with them as well, and like I say, surrounding yourself around people who are doing the same sort of thing, um, I think it's great for that. I think, yeah, do you want to attend more fashion shows and do that sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think.
Definitely. I really,
Sorry, yeah, yeah. I was going to say, I think something like that. The more of them you can do, um, and again, especially to go alongside the writing and stuff as well, it just kind of it helps out kind of keep up to date with everything that's going on as
yeah.
well, and people in the industry as well. What was it? What were the collections like?
At Copenhagen, the first collection was like it was very like knitwear based. Like it was colourful, it was like exciting. Like they had like fun hats and bags and things like that and patterns. And the second show I went to was more ready to wear, so it was more like jackets, t-shirts, had like a lot of logos everywhere. It was really, yeah, they were two very different shows.
Hmm. Do you get a chance to kind of meet any of the designers or anyone like that?
No, no, I didn't meet any of the designers, but they did come out at the end of the show with their team.
Yeah, nice. And you've sent over, yeah, we've got some of the behind the scenes stuff you took as well, and some of the photos and videos. So it looks like it was, yeah, a really cool event. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think, like I said, if you can get kind of more of them under the belt and go to different ones, then yeah, I think that'll be great. Um, yeah, going into the fashion, we'll go into sort of the areas you do with the writing and the content creation. Um, so yeah, we'd say a lot of the writing and stuff like that. How do you kind of stay up to date with fashion?
It is social media, like I'm on it constantly. It's like a job. But I use, yeah, I use TikTok, Instagram, and when you go onto my social media, like no joke, you don't really see anyone that I know. You just see like fashion content, like, and I can just keep scrolling for like hours and like keep up to date with the fashion because that's all my social media is now. It's just fashion, but because I love it so much, it's like it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, I think I think especially like nowadays as well, like having that access to stuff like that, and getting so much of it like constantly, it's a good way of kind of, and it allows you like instantly to see what other people are doing. I mean, even like say like the like around the world and stuff, like they say the Copenhagen stuff and and the different fashion shows, like kind of seeing that straight away. Even if we're not there, we can kind of see it happening as it's happening. Um, do you have like other kind of writers or anyone else, like other fashion writers, or anyone you see or anything like that that you kind of uh like keep up to date with as well? Or is it your own kind of own?
What, sorry?
Is there any other like sort of anyone else who does like fashion writing or anything like that that you follow or um
That I So I'm really into Bricks magazine, which is I think it's London based, and um, I've been to like their events and things. They're basically like a magazine which promotes like working class creatives. So their content promotes like photographers, designers, literally anyone in the creative field who is working class, of a working class background. And I just think the way they run and the way they produce content and the content they produce is just like so inspiring. And I take all of my inspiration from them. Like that's how I created Destin because I thought like things like this already exist, but I think if it existed for Liverpool, like that would be a completely new thing.
yeah. Well, I think yeah, Destin, we'll jump into that in a sec because that was something I was gonna obviously go into. Um yeah, so we'll talk about that. I think do you feel like with your writing, how do you feel it's kind of like developed? Do you feel like you have a certain style or anything like that as well?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I have a certain style because I read a lot of fashion journalism, and to be honest, like a lot of it, I don't know, a lot of it is quite boring and it's like it feels like it's been done before. But yeah, I wouldn't really know how to describe my writing style exactly, but yeah, it's short, it's snappy, it's to the point. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think yeah, it's good. We'll yeah, like we'll see. Again, I think we've spoke about like getting little bits for the magazine and stuff like that, so we'll kind of see some of that style as well. Um, the from the other side, like the content creation side of things as well. So you say you do that as well. Yeah, what does that involve?
So for the content creation for AYW, I had to basically run people through on the Instagram the day I was having and the shows I was going to before, during, and after.
Mhm.
So it would just be very personal content. So little things I'd find, the outfits I'd see, making them feel like they're also at the show and they're involved too.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's all for the AYW content creation, really.
Do you have, is it like, so that like that's with them for the magazines, for your own stuff as well? Is it kind of like other stuff you create for your own thing as well?
Yeah, it's the content creation for my own Instagram is quite similar, but for Destined, it's like it's very difficult because I've noticed there's like a lack of coverage for fashion in Liverpool. So we really have to dig deep. And when I say we, I mean like me and the people who write for me, and also my dad likes to help out with it a lot. So we all just really have to look hard, and it takes hours to find something. And when you find something, it could be really good, but there might not be enough coverage on it, so you can't write about it. So you just have to sort of search and search and search and search. But we do come out with some good write-ups, whether that's like something we know already, or we reach out to people and ask them if they can talk about their work. So yeah, it's very similar to like what you guys do and what like Bricks do, but it's probably a lot more difficult just because of the lack of like coverage and things like that.
Yeah, I think well, that's something very similar from our side. I think like that's more recently as well. We've been trying to branch out to more, trying to get more kind of like writers on board and stuff like that as well. Because I think it's something we've noticed as well when you're reaching out. There can be like trying to get coverage, like it can be like the odds thing, but to try and expand on it a bit more, it can be a bit tricky to find. Well, we'll go into Destin now actually, because yeah, that was going to like lead us into that. So um yeah, so what I gather, it's a fashion community founded in 2023. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So just tell us a little bit about it, sort of the kind of the setup behind it.
So I created it in April 2023, but it's been an idea in progress for a while because I've always known it's something I've wanted to do. So I moved to London in the summer before, so summer 2022, and as soon as I got to London, the first few weeks, I began to feel homesick.
Mm.
And I moved to London was because I wanted to pursue fashion as a career, and I thought to myself, I'm so homesick. Why can't I just do this in Liverpool? Why are all the opportunities down here, and why do only like London-based fashion designers get attention and things like that? And why are the only jobs here in London?
Mhm.
So that really like caused me to think, and I wanted to create opportunities in Liverpool, and I wanted to create attention for the fashion scene in Liverpool as well, because I just felt like it's so overlooked, and there definitely is a specific fashion in Liverpool, and there are people who are trying to break out into the industry there.
Mhm.
Like there's so many schools, there's so much potential, even in like the streetwear and things. And I just really wanted to showcase that. And so in April, I created the Instagram account, and I didn't think it was going to get a lot of attention at first. And it did. Like a lot of my friends and family just loved the idea.
Mhm.
And then a few weeks later, I moved on to like making TikToks. And then later down the line, made a website. And now we're working on a physical publication. So it's really taken off and people really love it. So I'm just happy that something that I thought was probably just going to be like a little fun thing to do on the side while I'm homesick is actually going to become something hopefully big.
Yeah, that's amazing that it's kind of developing into that, and especially I think like you were saying earlier as well, when it's something you enjoy doing, and especially for yourself, if it's something from back home as well, and it's got that extra meaning to you, then it doesn't feel like work. It's something you enjoy doing. Um, do you feel like in Liverpool, do you think there's kind of like a lack of that with like whether it's um any like stuff like that with sort of fashion communities or magazines or anything like that? Do you think there's it's kind of screaming out for that a little bit?
Yeah, because I think there's definitely like a gap there because I've never seen anything like it before. I've never known there to be like a Liverpool-based fashion magazine. I'm not sure if there is. I've done loads of research into it and I actually can't find anything.
Mhm.
Back in the 80s and the 90s, I remember there was quite, and even the early 2000s, quite a big fashion scene in Liverpool, and they had a lot of fashion shows, but never any like publication that was specific to Liverpool. So yeah, I think that, fingers crossed, hopefully what I'm doing is original because I haven't seen it being done before. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's just going a little bit stuttery. So it's calming down a bit now. Yeah. Um, yeah, with the fashion scene itself as well in Liverpool. Yeah, do you feel because because we're based in Manchester as well, and then talking to a lot of other models or whoever we spoke to, a lot of them are kind of between Manchester or London, and it's a similar thing where they'll say it used to be just all London, and then a lot more stuff's kind of coming up north and that. Do you feel with Liverpool it's a similar thing? Do you feel like there's obviously London's still the kind of in the UK the main thing for like anything kind of fashion going on or any shows or anything, but do you feel like Liverpool's starting to kind of catch up with that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely, because the moment Manchester takes off, I think Liverpool will too. Um, because they're right next to each other. But the Chanel show in Manchester recently has done so many good things for the city. And I actually had an interview with a fashion worker called Rosie Brown on Destin page where I spoke about if it's good or bad for the city, and we came to the conclusion that it's good and bad
Mhm.
because it creates fashion jobs and it sort of brings the attention to the fashion scene in Manchester. And I hope that yeah, Liverpool will go along with it.
Yeah, I think more stuff like that. I think it's a good thing with like awareness and everything like that. And I think the more it kind of bring to it, and then there's other stuff as well. I've noticed with a lot of brands or anything like that might be kind of coming up more up north more because stuff like tends to be it might be like certain rates or certain studio rates or cost of like teams or it tends to be a little bit less than them as well. So it's almost worth they feel like it's worth coming up to do that sort of stuff up here as well. Um, on the site, yeah, for Destined on the site, yeah, you say that you use kind of like Instagram and TikTok to showcase the fashion. Is that something where the content creation comes in from your side there?
Yeah, so I'm very heavily involved with the both Instagram and TikTok. Um, so the team that we have sort of will put out ideas and a list of ideas, and they'll sort of come up with their own ideas, or they'll say, "I want to write about this," or yeah. So we'll just create like a loose social media schedule, and a lot of the content that gets posted on Instagram will also get posted on TikTok.
Mhm.
It tends to get a bit more on TikTok, and the TikTok videos are more like slideshows with like trending music, and then the Instagram posts are more like I'd say a bit more of a magazine format where there's like some nice images, and then the caption is quite short but quick and to the point and describes what the post is about, so the brand or the designer. And yeah,
What's the response been like so far from designers and business and stuff you spoke to?
amazing. I've had so many supportive messages saying that people love what I do and they think it's really important and that like they hope I can continue, and people just really want to help out with it because obviously at this moment in time I'm not making any money from it, but people think it's so important that I'm showcasing the work of these people and giving Liverpool the chance to grow its fashion scene. And yeah, people just really love it. I've had people come to me with content as well that I've never found on the internet before. So people come to me with like images, information, maybe even correct me on things I've wrote. Like it's really nice to have people who love what I do so much that they also want to get involved.
Yeah, I think that feedback is nice to get, and I think the big thing that people seem to appreciate is just that kind of the exposure and getting chance to kind of that some of the stuff's getting seen. Do you have any kind of upcoming projects?
Yeah, so it's been quite loosely talked about, but we want a physical publication. We've actually started working on it uh just over a month ago, so it's been in the works for a month now, and fingers crossed we'll have that out by the summer, and then we want an event to follow up with that publication so we can have every fashion scene in Liverpool. We want everyone to sort of meet together and know each other and you know, like network kind of thing, and just know who's around you and really who you can work with and speak to and share things with.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's looking forward to that and seeing sort of, like I say, especially as it kind of develops into that stage. And then, yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of keep an eye on it and see how it develops. And I think the more of it you get through and the more kind of people you reach out to as well, I think that'll help it develop and grow. And like you were saying earlier as well about the content and stuff like that, I think the more people you speak to, you'll kind of bring in more stuff as opposed to when it's a bit tricky at first finding that stuff where it's you might kind of find the odd things, but like I say, there's not much to kind of grow on from it. But I think the more people you reach out to and the more people you get involved with it, it'll help. I think it'll help it naturally grow. And I think it's good for both you and them. It helps like the agency, the community like develop, and it helps them as well,
Yeah.
keeps them exposed. So it's a great thing that it kind of gives on both sides. Oh, just a little bit stuttery there. That's okay, it's calm. Yeah, we'll finish on the last couple of things. Just there's a couple of things I wanted to ask just really about. So one of them is if you've got advice for any students or anyone just kind of just coming out of uni or getting into fashion, just any bits of advice you can give, really.
So is this people who are based in Liverpool or just like fashion students in general?
It can be both. I mean, it could be nice as well from Liverpool because, like I say, you've got that kind of
Yeah.
the roots and stuff.
Yeah. So if you are just coming out of university as a fashion student and you are unsure of what you're doing or you just really want to pursue fashion, my advice is to create a balance where you can sort of create your fashion experience while also working. So you can like volunteer, you can reach out to people, you can do creative work for people, and any opportunity you get, even if it's unpaid, like you should definitely take it because it's a creating experience. You're meeting new people, and then you know you'll never know, you might get a job opportunity from it. But yeah, definitely don't give up. It's a really tough industry, and it's always going to be that way. It's getting more difficult each day, but if you really want it, you'll get it. So you'll find a way to get it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think yeah, persistence and yeah, that's a big one. Persistence and getting experience as well, especially like that early on. It's I think that's vital. And with the experience side of things of jumping into stuff as well, it builds connections, and I think that's really big in the industry. Like yeah, making connections. And yeah, finally, just yeah, with just about Destined. Just tell us where we can find it basically on the Instagram and the website. So just where designers and business can find it if they wanted to reach out to you.
Yeah, so you can find it on Instagram. It's Destin Liverpool on Instagram and TikTok, and you can find the email in the Instagram, or you can message the account. Someone will answer your messages. If it's about content, we prefer for it to be emailed, but anything else, you can even leave a comment on the account. It will be seen. And um, a lot of our like stories and posts are interactive. We always leave it for people to give us feedback. So yeah, but if you want to submit content, definitely email it over. We're open to any kinds of Liverpool-based content.
Amazing, that's great. Yeah, and I think it gives people a chance to find you and check out the website for themselves. And yeah, hopefully you'll get some kind of inquiries coming through. Yeah, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us.
Thank
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing kind of more with what you create in the writing as well. And like you say, from our side, from the magazine as well, we'll be in touch as well and sort of try and get some of more of that generated.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Aleisha. Thank you. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
And bye.
Bye.